Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the three number one ways to get bookkeeping clients or accounting clients for your VAS business. Now, when I say VAS, I mean virtual accounting service. If you don't know what that is, like I said before, go through a couple of my videos on my channel and you'll learn very quickly what that is. In shortness, it is a virtual accounting service. Now, the number one question that I always get asked, and even now after posting a bunch of videos about it, but I'll keep making more because you guys keep asking, is what's the number one way to get clients? And it kind of comes into these three different niches to get clients. Each one has pros and cons, as with everything in life and especially business. I'm going to tell you the one that I currently use, but the one that I used to use when I first started. Just to quickly go over the three. First one is going to be cold outreach. Now, whether that's cold calling, cold emailing, cold DMing, messaging people that you know, that's cold. The reason why we call it cold in the sales and marketing industry is because you don't know the person and they don't know you. They've never spoken with you. You've never made a touch point with them. They don't know anything about you. So they're considered a cold lead or a cold prospect. You don't know nothing. Now, the second one is paid. Paid can be a number of different things, mainly paid ads, paid cold email campaigns, paid marketing, paid content, sponsorships, stuff like that. If you're ever going to do paid ads, I can make a complete separate video on that, but I would recommend meta ads. That's the one that I'm most familiar with. I've seen a lot of success with meta ads. I've had a lot of success with meta ads. The only downside, and I don't even want to say downside, it's just the only caveat with paid ads is obviously it's paid. You need money. Now, how much? I would say comfortably you want to have about $4,000 or $5,000 set aside for paid ads. You could get away with $1,500 to $2,000, but it would be, I don't want to say risky, but if you don't know what you're doing, like if you quite literally just started and you're only a month or two in and you have no experience with sales, with marketing or anything like that, paid ads probably not the best. I did a paid marketing campaign on Meta ads. For those of you that don't know, Meta is Instagram and Facebook. I ran a campaign this year in February. I think it was February. It was either January or February. Ran it for 2.5 or 3 months. And first off, do not do that. Never launch a paid ad and only run it for 3 months. I was just kind of experimenting a different funnel. Now, I spent a total of I think it was $1,800. It was definitely under the $2,000 range, and that's Canadian dollars because I'm up in Canada. For those Americans or Australians, or I've had a couple people message me from the UK, so across the pond there. But that is under $2,000 Canadian, and what I made off of that was about $16,000 in total deals closed, and about 8,000 of that 16 has been cash collected, and that was simply because I knew what I was doing. I'm pretty good at sales. I know marketing. I know the language. I know how to follow up with leads. In total, that $1,500, $1,800 in ad spend got me about, I think, 60 leads. Really good dialed in leads. Not good, but just 60 leads. I'm going to say probably about 30 of them were really dialed in. So yeah, second one is paid, whether that's paid ads, paid campaign. That's pretty much it. The third one, I don't like using this one. I see a lot of people use it. If you have the right business, I think it's awesome. I think it could be awesome for accounting, but you have to approach it in a certain way. And the way that I see it is, if you're going to spend the time on a marketing campaign, you might as well do either paid or cold outreach. And the third one is referral. Now, you have to approach referral where it doesn't look like you're begging for clients, because if it looks like that you're begging, you're just going to lower your status or your perceived status. And that's something that you don't want with your clients, because if you're ever going to do a price range, not a price range, but a price increase, it's going to be quite difficult. And overall, when I'm talking to clients, I want them to see me up here. I don't want them to see me down here. So it might just be me, but I feel like referrals to there, there's nothing wrong with referrals, with getting referrals. But what I'm talking about is setting up an actual campaign where you do like an email blast to like all of your clients, and you say, hey, if you've enjoyed working with me and you know blah 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 who would benefit from this service, then give me a referral. I'll send you $200 or something like that. I I don't know what it is. Honestly, it might just be me, but I just find it's almost kind of like begging. I don't like doing it. And even if even if it wasn't begging and it didn't come across that way and you structured it very well, at the same time, I would rather invest that time and money into paid acquisition, paid ads, or even just cold outreach. Now, if you're just starting, 100% do cold outreach because you're just starting. You most likely don't have money, and if you do, it's a little tiny budget. Cold outreach, that's how I got my first few clients. That was mainly through Twitter and Instagram DMs. Surprisingly enough, I saw pretty good success with Twitter DMs, even though I couldn't I couldn't find many Canadian prospects off of Twitter. Off of Instagram, I did, but Instagram has, at least now, what when I did cold DMs, this was back in 2022 or 2023. I don't remember, but Instagram had very little filters in the direct messaging settings. Nowadays, Instagram has very good filters, and if you send a cold DM, you're most likely going to get it put into like a spam or junk folder, and that's something, again, you don't want to waste your time with that. Twitter, I saw Twitter was very good. It was very great. I still have clients to this day that I got off Twitter, and honestly, they are some of the best clients that I've had to date. So if you're gonna run it with cold outreach, either cold email, cold DMs, or cold calling. If I had to pick one, I never, I wouldn't fully do cold calling, simply because if you're just starting, again, your sales probably isn't that good, and cold calling I think only works if you're good at sales and you can handle objections and you've got the time to actually invest hours, because like you can't just make 10 cold calls and think that you're good. You got to be doing at least, on the very minimum, 50 cold calls, and that's got to be dialed in calls. Like you're going on Google and you're searching up 50 businesses, and you know that they're local and you know that they're open. You know that they're not. It's just some old website that's been up for the last 3 years that no one's updated or touched. Like 50 really good ones. If you want to spam and do like a cold call blast, I would say I'd do a minimum 100 every single day. Now, paid ads, once you get that $4,000 or $5,000 saved up and you are okay spending that money, meaning if you were to take that 4 or 5 grand and just throw it off the balcony or just burn it, you're completely fine with that. Because that's essentially what it is when you're first starting. When I say that I launched a campaign back in January or February, I didn't close a single deal until April. So that's kind of like the sales cycle, especially when it's cold, when the person doesn't know you, because they need to know you. They don't necessarily need to like you. I know a lot of people say that they need to know you, like you, and trust you. I've had people who they're just not a fan of taxes and they just don't like it they just don't like it when I call them and stuff. Nothing against me. It's simply because they hate taxes and they hate dealing with it. But they know me and they trust me, and when I propose a certain strategy or a deal or offer, they sign, and they eventually pay. So that is essentially it. The 3 ways is going to be cold method, whether that's cold calling, cold DMing, doesn't matter, just anything cold. That one's free. Second one is going to be paid acquisition. Now, whether that's through Meta ads, Google ads, doesn't matter. And then the third one is going to be referral. Like I said, I'm not crazy about it. It does work. 1000% it does work. I personally just I just don't like it. Now, one thing that you need to have in every single one of those is going to be sales. You need to know how to sell your service, because if you're just if you're just going to talk to someone and be like, "Hey, my name's Joe and I offer bookkeeping services. Do you want to hire me?" No one's going to do that. Even if the person is years behind and they have money to pay, they're not going to hire based off that. Like, you need to approach it with a certain angle and with a certain sales skill. You don't need to be the best. I'm by all means, I'm not the best at sales. Right now, my sales rate, depending on the funnel and the lead, I'm bouncing between a 25 to 50% close rate. When I'm at 50% close rate, that's me doing a retargeting campaign, and essentially that's me targeting leads that already know me. I haven't closed them yet, but they do know who I am and they know what I offer. When I'm doing a complete cold, super cold call, they came in through like a paid ad. They don't know anything about me. It's usually around that 20 to 25% close rate. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is effectively it. Those are the 3 ways. Now, if you're just starting, it doesn't matter which way, just pick a way and stick with it. I see a lot of people messaging me, say just for sake of conversation, they message me in January and they still message me in April or May asking, like, come on, by then you've got to have something. Maybe not a closed deal, but something, some type of response that people are giving you. If you're going to spend all of your time searching for the best way, you're never going to find it, because there is no such thing as the best way. You just got to make it, or you just got to pick one way and make it the best way. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is essentially it. I am offering a new program. Effectively, what that program is going to be, right now, it's only offered to Canadian bookkeepers and Canadian accountants. Now, the reason why is because I'm testing this new offer. I'm Canadian, so I'm going to do it with a market that I am familiar with and that I'm actually in. What that offer is essentially it's going to be working one-on-one with me. I'm going to help you build out your entire sales and marketing funnel for your VAS, virtual accounting service. I'm going to give you actual sales lessons. So I'm going to teach you one-on-one how to sell accounting services and how to position yourself in a way where it makes your accounting service looks like it's a huge value. And as a bonus, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be sending you leads. Now, what do I mean by sending you leads? Right now, I'm spending roughly around $4,000 to $5,000 a month in paid ads. That's across Meta ads and Google ads. Now, a lot of these leads, they're very good leads, but they're not good for me. And what I mean by that is if I have a basic regular bookkeeping client who just needs regular monthly bookkeeping, my minimum is going to be around $350 to $400 a month. But for someone who's just starting, if you price that at $200 or $250 a month, that's perfect for you. That's a perfect starting and perfect training client. And it's even better for the client, because maybe they can't afford my $400 service, but they can definitely afford a $200 service. It's just the fact that the position that I'm currently in, that I got to, $200 a month in bookkeeping, it's not really worth my time or my resources. So instead of letting those leads go to absolute waste, I'm going to be sending you those leads. One thing that I will say is this is a new offer. I'm going to be taking limited spots, very, very limited spots. I'm thinking I'm going to cut it at 10 members. Right now I'm talking to about 4 different people who have already been through a couple of my different programs, and I'm in the middle of getting them set up. So I'm thinking the maximum amount of people that I'm going to be taking on is going to be about 10. So I'd say that there's a four spots left, or sorry, not 4, but 6. So yeah, if you are a Canadian bookkeeper or a Canadian accountant, if you've got a accounting firm, bookkeeping firm in Canada, and you do want to grow, shoot me a DM on Instagram. DM me the word Nexus, because that's the name of the program. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 3 best and only ways really to get bookkeeping and accounting clients for your practice. Like I said before, if you are located in Canada and you want to grow your firm and you really want to dial in your actual sales funnel and your sales skills, go ahead and DM me the word Nexus on Instagram and we can talk. With that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.